Alright, hello there guys, Skyly team here, and I'm Ryan. I'm gonna be here on behalf of the Skyly team, and today we're gonna look up the BetonQuest that we will be using on our server, and we're gonna start a little tutorial on this because the tutorial they give us down here is very confusing and very um, not really, it doesn't really make sense. A lot of people have complained saying it's so confusing, the guy just skips around and it just doesn't work. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. If you can see right here, I have pulled up Notepad++. It is highly recommended that you get Notepad++. I'll link it in the description of the video to make sure you guys are all up to date with it and good with it. So I'm first gonna kind of create a folder. Give me 1 second so I can go save this. I'm gonna name it tutorial. I have two screens, so I will tell you what I am doing on the second screen. So actually, let me just pull this over here. So right here, I have my tutorial thing, and this is one I did last night because I was bored and I just needed to do something. This actually is going to go into the server, and it's actually a very short quest. It's just helping out with some stuff. So what we're gonna do is actually I don't need this one. We're gonna go to desktop. Let me just server quest plugins BetonQuest default. All right, so I've already generated a server. I've already got everything I need for it. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna create a whole new conversation. So this is the default one it comes with you. It comes with Innkeeper. It's a very confusing quest that was coded, and I looked over it for a while, and it's actually 100% broken. It doesn't work for some reason. Another thing, at this time, the server actually, or the plugin actually has a minor problem. When you finish a quest and it operates completely correctly, it generates a exception in task 141023. But hopefully the developer will fix that very quickly so we can get on to this. So right now, I'm going to create a new document, and you're going to delete everything on this. I'm just going to name this, tutorial.yml. Your file has to be tutorial.yml. Sorry, your file has to end in .yml. Just FYI. So just bear with me on that one. But what we also need to do is have two folders up. I just need one. You're gonna do your default folder, and we're gonna open up conditions, events. Let's do an item. We're gonna open up our main, and we're gonna open up our objectives. So what we're gonna have is you're gonna use your events a lot more than any other folder. Your objectives are gonna be kind of over here on the third file. I recommend you order these into what you're gonna code first. So first is the actual conversation, which is tutorial.yml, and we're gonna start with this one just to kind of get a feel for this plugin. Next, we're gonna have events, and I'm actually gonna make comment tutorial down here, and conditions I'm going to go ahead and make tutorial down here. Objectives you really don't, I don't really think you need. Items, I'll show you how to add items later. You don't need to do comments in this, just leave it alone. Here we're going to actually delete some stuff. So right here, take out, if you have the Citizens 2 plugin and it is compatible with your Minecraft server version, leave this here, okay? Because the NPC ID 0 will become your innkeeper. And if you don't have it, then I will show you how to make a BetonQuest NPC. So right now, since I don't have a citizens that's compatible, I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and I'm going to name him tutorial, and just gonna kind of get in there. So we've already made an NPC tutorial. So this is kind of the first thing you want to do is make your NPC. What is your NPC going to be called? Your NPC is going to be called tutorial. So that's my NPC. You're done in the main.yml. Don't touch the main.yml again. This cancel down here, I don't know what it is yet. I actually just got into this yesterday. But don't touch it. Don't touch the variables. Don't touch anything else unless you know what you're doing. Only alter the NPCs. So I'm going to go ahead and get over here. So the first thing, we're back in tutorial.yml. This is your main thing, what everything's going to run off of. So we're going to actually give this a title. We're going to call it Kill the Zombie. Kill the Zombie. So remember that using a pound symbol is a comment. Comments are very important in this plugin since it's a very logical thinking and you can't always do what you need to do. So we're going to go down here, we're going to name him Quester. Here's the default layout. I'm going to give you guys the layout right here. The first, and do we want the end? Do we want to stop the player? Do we want to make the player not move while we're doing this quest? So typically you want to put this to false. You want the player to move. So this means you want the player to move. So there's your comment for stop. First, this is kind of like, this is the quester's name. So tutorial is my quester, is my NPC's name. So the quester's tutorial. And what is like the first action we want to see? So I usually label my first. I usually label it accept. Kind of looks like a question, kind of inference question. Yeah, but so that's true. So there's also another option called final events. We're gonna leave this blank right now because I found that I haven't really needed it at the moment. So we're gonna go down here and we're gonna type in NPC options. Be sure it has the S on it because a lot of people have made the mistake of leaving it with no S and the whole kind of thing just blows up in their face. So please remember to space over until you get this. There's a little, if you can't see it, there's a little line right there in Notepad++ that tells you when the line 7 and line 8 are connected. So we're going to do this. We're going to name the first one accept. And we're going to kind of go over until I see that line. There it is. So the options here are text. And again, you have to space over after every one. Conditions. Whoops. Events. And pointers. No, just pointer. Excuse me. It's just pointer. And you want to make sure that these all have a single quote on them. This is the default layout. Just every FYI, this is the default layout, except for the accept part. And it doesn't really have a default to it, but this is literally what you need to know. These 4 things right here is what you're going to alter. You also need to make sure your options. So we're going to kind of get into this real fast. So the text, what do we want our NPC to say? Your NPC is going to say this when the player clicks on them. So we're going to actually say, hey player, and %player % will change into the player's name. Will you help me out? So now this NPC is asking the player, can you come help me? So we don't have any events that he needs to kind of give him, and we don't have any conditions that we need to be aware of. So now we're going to get into pointers. I'll get into events and conditions later, but we're going to get into pointers. So pointer is what is the target. So we're going to go over and we're going to make player options. Please remember to keep that S right there. Most people do this and it doesn't work. So this is going to get confusing really, really fast because I've kind of mastered a lot of it. So we're going to name this pointer is player accepts or player declines. Oops. So we have two pointers right here, player accepts, player declines. So now what we need to do is we need to go down into player options and we need to do player accepts right here, and I'm just going to copy this real fast and paste it down here, and then we need to come down here and do player declines and paste the text conditions and events. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete the text out of these so it does not get confusing. So this is what we want the player to see. So we will I'm going to label this first question response. Always put comments in here. So these two are the first question response. And we're going to name this first question. Okay? First question. Very important. It's very important that you comment on this. It's very confusing plugin. It gets confusing very fast, and it also it helps. The comments help. So we're going to now define what happens if the player accepts or the player declines. So what we want to happen, so we're going to actually start with player declines. I'm very busy. Sorry. So again, you can't just do this in the text line because it will just see as the text is I. So you always have to put that double single quote between if you want to do an apostrophe. So the player will say, "I'm very busy. Sorry." So then this will end the conversation right here. This is going to end the conversation. There's no thanks. But wait, what if I want my NPC to respond to "I'm very busy, sorry"? Well, we're gonna point this to, let's see, tutorial declined. I'm coming up with these things on the fly. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna highlight this. First question NPC response. I'm going to name that first question NPC response. We're going to take tutorial declined. Tutorial declined. We're going to paste it right there. Oh, you can just say, "Oh, sorry for disturbing you." Now that the quest will end. Okay, so the player has he has read the question. He's declined taking the quest. The NPC will say, "Hey, decent interval, will you help me out?" The player will then decline, saying, "I'm very busy, sorry." And then it will point back up here to tutorial declined, "Oh, sorry," or "Oh, sorry for disturbing you." This will end the quest. There's nothing left after that. Now we're going to do player accept. So I'm going to just put "What's up?" And this is going to point to tutorial accepted. So the NPC will then respond with tutorial accepted, and he'll say, "Really? Thanks." So then we're going to point this at Man, what do we want to call this? You want to kind of make them obvious so you know what is going to happen. So we're now at the point where it says the player, he says, "Hey player, will you help me out?" The player accepts. He says, "What's up?" And it goes over to tutorial accepted, which is right here. And the NPC will say, "Really? Thanks." And the players say, "Player helps NPC." So we're going to take this right here, and we're going to go down here, and we're going to put a new comment in, and we're going to say, "Player has accepted the tutorial quest." And we're going to paste this down here, and we're going to call this player, oops, helps NPC. So then the player will ask, "What can I help you with?" Now we're going to get into the main thing. Explanation. Quest explanation. Here we are. Quest explanation. I completely spelled that wrong. Just add this comment right here because it's really easy to help. This is going to point to tutorial explains quest. Tutorial explains quest. We're going to say, "A zombie took my apple. Could you please retrieve it?" And we're going to say, "Player yes" or "Player no." And what we're going to do is we're going to name it, this is quest explanation. Quest explanation response. And we're going to name this right here, down here, player yes. And we're going to name this down here, player no. So now let's just go over this real quick before we get into this player yes, player no, because after this we're going to start going into events and conditions and objectives. So here we go. The player has clicked on the NPC. The player says, "Hey player, will you help me out?" The NPC then gives the player two options: player accept or player declines. So then we go down into player options, and I've put a comment here saying this is the first question response. Well, this is the first question right here. So this is the response: player accepts and player declines. If the player accepts, he says "What's up?" and it goes up to tutorial accepted, which is up in the NPC options. If the player declines, he says, "I'm very busy, sorry." The tutorial declined. And goes up to tutorial decline, says, sorry for disturbing you." The quest ends. If the player is accepted, the NPC says, "Really, thanks." The pointer then points to player helps NPC. And it points down here to player has accepted the tutorial quest. Player helps NPC, here it is in player options. What can I help you with? Then goes to tutorial explains quest. So when we go up here to tutorial explains quest, the tutorial says, "A zombie took my apple. Could you please retrieve it?" So then the player responds to player yes or player no. So if the player says yes, we're going to say, "Sure thing." And it's going to end the quest, but we're going to add something later. If the player says no, what kind of, let's be nice and say, That sounds a little too hard for me. Sorry. That ends the quest right there. Player says no. After the tutorial explains the quest, he says no. And the player says, that sounds a little too hard for me, sorry. And the quest ends. Now we're going to go into events. We need to go into our events folder. And this is going to get a little, this is where it starts to get confusing. Tutorial. So, what we need to establish is, let's just call it, let's just call this event zombie. And we're just going to call this event zombie, and we're going to get into this. So what we need to do is make this an objective. So we've made this an objective, and you need to put an action, okay? And then you needed to put, sorry, I have my objectives over here. Events, give me 1 second, I'm almost there. Okay, here it is, yep. And then we need a name, okay? So that's the objective action name. Now you have 3 choices in actions. You have start, you have delete, and you have complete, okay? We're going to make it start, because we want the player to start this objective, and we're going to do this. So what happens right here is we want the objective start, we want the player to kill a mob, we want the mob to be zombie. Now in the tutorial I saw, he says capitalize the mob's name or mob's definition for the mob kill, but in a lot of my files I have zombie lowercase, but I think it'll work better in zombie uppercase. So we've now set event zombie. We want the player to start the objective mob kill zombie 1. And what we want to do here is event. We're going to link an event to this, where we're going to call this event tag player. We're going to call this tag player kill. Kill zombie, or something like that. So we're going to go down here now and tag player kill zombie into our events list, because it is defined as an event. So fun. So now what we need to do is we need to add a tag. So we need to tag add player kill zombie. But wait, what's a tag, and how do you define a tag? Well, you have to go into a folder called conditions and make a tag. So what you need to do is you need to define this as player kill zombie, and you need to tag this as tag player kill zombie. Okay, so now we've made a condition, and I'm actually gonna make this condition player kill zombie. Player kill zombie, the tag is created now. So that now says objective started, mob kill zombie 1, event tag player kill zombie. And we're actually going to rename this tag player killed zombie. So we have to go into here and edit that. So just make it tag player killed zombie. And then we're going to start up with this. So, but event zombie objective event tag player killed zombie. We need to make a condition where it says it doesn't give, it gives this tag after he's killed zombie. So actually we're going to rename this event zombie completed. And we're going to make this objective complete mob kill zombie 1, and we're going to take event tag player killed zombie. Now we're going to make this event zombie completed. So it's going to test for if the objective is complete, which is the mob kill zombie 1. It's then going to tag player killed zombie. It now tags the player killed zombie, which the condition is condition player killed zombie, and we're going to go back into here. So the events that we want, and I'm going to just move this to the other view so we don't have to keep tabbing back to it. Now the events we want after player yes is event zombie, and actually no, we just want event zombie, because this will take care of itself right here. So this has now executed. He's starting to kill the mob zombie, and event zombie completed. So we're going to make this. So we're going to go up here, and we're going to do have you completed the quest. The NPC is then going to say, we're going to call this tutorial complete, and it's going to say, did you kill that zombie? The player is going to say player done or player not done. And the conditions is, or I'm going to move this over here. The condition that needs to be true is condition player killed zombie. So this has to be true in order for tutorial, in order for the player to see the tutorial is completed. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the player done and player. We're going to comment on this. Quest is now winding down. We're going to name this player is done, and we're going to name this player not done. He just says, here's your apple. So what I forgot to do was I forgot to add the apple, and we're just going to go quickly over to events, and we're going to give player, we're going to name this event give player apple. And what we're going to do is we're going to go up to event zombie completed, and we're going to add a comma, and we're going to go give player apple. It's then going to give, this is events, yep, give apple 1. Then it will now give the player an apple, and event zombie completed is now giving the player an apple. Now the conditions is, let me see. Actually, we're going to do this. No, I don't have your apple. Sorry. I'm going to name this comeback. We're going to point it up to comeback. Has / doesn't have apple. We're going to comment this. And we're going to name this comeback. And we're going to delete the pointers. We're going to delete the conditions. And we're going to say come back when you have my apple. Quest ends. Right there. What we're going to name this is pointer reward. And we're going to name this, we're going to go up here in the NPC options, name this reward, and he says, ah, my apple, thank you so much, player. There we go. So what we want to happen here is player get reward, NPC takes apple. And what we're going to do is player gets reward, we're going to give him an emerald. We're going to give him 2 emeralds for this. And NPC takes apple, take apple 1. We're just going to take an apple, take apple 1. So now we're going to go down here, player gets reward, and NPC takes apple. So right here when the tutorial completes, it says condition, does the player have player killed zombie? And we're actually going to do this. Tutorial complete lied is if you don't have player. I think that is what we're going to do. So now we're going to make sure we've saved everything. I'm going to close out of a lot of this. We didn't do anything in objectives, and we have an emerald. What we need to add is we need to add tutorial. We need to add a good we need to add the apple. My bad. The apple. We need to add the apple. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start this server up. I can close out of this. I'm going to start my Minecraft up. Look at that awesome background. Real fast. If my Minecraft ever starts. As you can see, it's all loading right here. All the collisions and everything